In the year J8, 1400 years ago, a reckless Ronin, named Kuroda Genzu, aged 35 with black hair and an average build, roamed the lands. He wore a tattered kimono and survived by stealing. Genzu had Just as Kuroda was about to steal some valuable items from the house, the owner appeared and immediately called for the household guards. Panic surged through Kuroda. He quickly unsheathed his sword. The guards quickly stormed in, engaging Kuroda in a fierce battle. Though Kuroda was a skilled swordsman, he was overwhelmed by the sheer number of guards. One of them struck him on the shoulder. Wow. Kuroda fled under the cover of darkness, exhausted and bleeding. He finally collapsed in front of a humble farmhouse in a village. The house belonged to a poor family, and the head of the household. Without hesitation, the old farmer dragged Kuroda inside. The house was simple and run down, with straw mats covering the floor and worn-out walls. The farmer's wife and children woke up, startled by A few days later, Kuroda slowly regained consciousness. He opened his eyes to see the simple home and the weary villagers. Trying to sit up, he was overcome by the pain in his body. The old farmer, Kuroda, remained silent. He had never imagined anyone would selflessly help someone like him. A flood of complex emotions stirred within him. The old farmer's kindness starkly contrasted with the Lee. Weeks passed, and Kuroda's wounds began to heal. However, he didn't rush to leave. During this time, he helped the old farmer plow the fields and chop wood, gradually becoming part of the villages. The villagers gradually began to accept Kuroda, no longer seeing him as an outsider or a threat. They appreciated his hard work and even gave him new clothes. Kuroda, in turn, started reflecting on. One evening, Kuroda sat by the fire with the villagers, listening to the old farmer recount stories from his youth. The farmer, once a wandering swordsman himself, had found his place in life through. Kuroda began to realize that his past life had been focused on taking without ever giving. He resolved to change and decided to start anew in this village, working alongside the people to live in whole. However, guilt still weighed heavily on Kuroda's heart. He knew he couldn't completely escape the wrongs he had done, so he decided to confess his past to the villagers. The villagers were initially shocked by Kuroda's confession, but they saw his remorse and the changes he had made, and they chose to forgive him. Kuroda felt an unprecedented sense of relief as they. With his soul cleansed, Kuroda worked even harder to serve the village. He used his swordsmanship to protect the village from external threats and taught the younger villagers how to defend themselves. As time passed, Kuroda became seen by the villagers as their protector and leader. No longer the wandering thief, he had become an integral part of the community, building strong bonds with everyone. One day, a group of samurai came to the village, intending to steal the villagers' food. Kuroda stepped forward and calmly faced them. Using his skill and cunning, he managed to drive them away. The villagers expressed their gratitude for Kuroda's bravery. viewing him as a true hero. In that moment, Kuroda felt a different kind of pride and honor, one that came from protecting others rather. Kuroda's life was now filled with purpose. No longer merely a Ronin seeking survival. He had become a hero fighting for others. His heart was at peace, knowing he had finally found his true place. Every night, Kuroda would sit on a hill, overlooking the village, gazing at the distant mountains. Reflecting on the path he had walked, he no longer felt burdened by the shadows of his past. Instead, the once fallen Ronin had finally found redemption through acts of goodness. His story became a legend passed down among the villagers, a tale of forgiveness and transformation that would be remembered.